Hello again, herb lovers. It's my favourite time of the year. It's the middle of winter, you can tell by the jersey, and I have my seeds out because it's time for me to start thinking about what I'm going to grow in the garden. And so I have to do a complete seed stocktake, which I won't bore you with, but I also have to look through what is one of my favourite things, herb catalogues. Okay, now you can either go old school like I like to go sometimes, which is get a seed catalogue from one of your favourite seed suppliers, or you can probably go and look things up on their website electronically. But I like to go old school because I do like the feel of paper between my little paws, and so I tend to have a look at what is available in a seed catalogue. Now I want to explain to you what it is that you're looking at when you look in a seed catalogue, and we may have to cut in here to show you, but what I'm going to explain to you is that inside of most seed catalogues and online you will have the name of your herb, in this case basil, and you will find a note of the botanical name of the plant as well, because it's really important to make sure that you're getting the right botanical name. You will get a note of how many seeds you're going to get inside of the packet that you're buying, and you're going to be told when to sow these. In this case, for sweet lemon basil, we're talking about spring and summer. You'll be told whether this is an annual or a perennial, and we've talked about that a lot. And you'll be told how high how high this plant is going to grow, and how many days it's going to take to mature, and what your seed spacing should be. So there are some things in there that are really important to know when you're trying to plant a garden. And in this instance, sweet lemon basil is going to grow to 60 centimetres, which is about yay high. If you're going to grow it in a pot, it might grow a little bit smaller, but it probably won't be too far off that height. And this gives you an idea when you're planning your garden as to what you want to plant and how high it's going to grow in its pot. And so pretty much the size of pot it's going to need and where you're going to put that in your container garden arrangement. Now that I've said all that, where am I going with this? I want you to think about what you want to grow this coming season. I would make some suggestions for you. I would suggest that if you are a brand new gardener, that you want to go and have a look at our brand new gardening series, and I would say that you want to start with things that are going to grow easily from seed. Seeds can be tricky, but they're not anything to be frightened of. If you've never grown anything by seed, I suggest you go and have a look at our sprouting video. That will help. Will give you some confidence in getting things to grow. Seeds just want to grow. The other option for you when you are planning your garden is to start with seed starts. And you can go and buy seed starts or plug plants from your local garden centre, and that's a good way to start if you're new, because it means that the plants are already started for you, and all you've basically got to do is put them in their pot and they're going to grow. But the same thing, you can still look them up in a seed catalogue to see how they're going to grow and what size they're going to grow. So people often ask what date to maturity is. Date to maturity is the date from when you first put seed in the seed raising mix to when you can reasonably expect to get a harvest from that. That's an important date if you have a very short growing season. I'm blessed to have a very long growing season where I live because we don't have any frosts. But if you have a short growing season, that means that you can go and check when your last frost date is, and you can calculate when you are going to expect to get a harvest from that plant based on the number of days from planting from your last frost date. So plant spacing is relevant for you if you're growing in ground or you're trying to grow a lot of plants together. Because we're concentrating on growing our plants in a pot, it's not really relevant for us unless we're perhaps trying to grow, say, a trough of chamomile or something like that. So if you've got a big trough or a half wine barrel or something like that, where you're going to grow a lot of plants, That's a suggested spacing between those plants to make sure that that plant will grow to its potential. In my experience, when you're growing in containers and in small spaces, you can very easily go half of that spacing and you're still going to get a really good harvest in a small space, as long as you're making sure that you're feeding your plants well as they're growing. Obviously, if you're growing in a pot, you're not going to need 250 seeds. That's quite a few, but you can always just start a lot of seedlings and give them away to people as gifts. People love getting little baby plants, and it's fun to see how many you can grow. And as well, there may be a small number that don't germinate. Sometimes some plants have a germination rate on them. That means that, say, if it's a 60% germination rate, you're going to want to plant 40% more to make sure that you get 100% return on the plants that you're trying to grow. But for us, with the small number that we're trying to grow, it's really not that relevant at this stage. So there you have it. Think about what you want to grow, make your I want to grow everything list like I do every year, and then what I really suggest you do is pick 4 or 5 of your favorites and concentrate on those and get to know them this season, and then you can branch out to your other herbs next season once you've got to know 4 or 5 really well this season. Happy garden planning. Let me know what you think you'd like to grow this season, and also remember to let us know what other things you'd like us to cover off in our coming videos. That's all for now. I'll see you again next time. Love and lettuce. Bye for now.